The Redscast Podcast.
12 minutes to go in normal time. Liverpool 3-0. Corner taken quickly, Origi!
It is the Redscast Podcast, the Liverpool Football Club podcast by the fans, for the fans. Isn't that much enthusiasm in the voice today? Joined as always by Ste.
All right. Just check. Hear me okay yet?
Yeah, I can hear you okay.
Excellent.
What's happened?
It's pretty inexplicable, isn't it? My head's not completely fallen off the way a lot of people's are.
Yeah.
Because that's not really my style. I'm like, it's one of them. Brush it under the carpet, pretend it never happened, and absolutely destroy Everton in a couple of weeks, and it's all forgotten about.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, if I would have done the podcast last night after the game, I was fuming. I was fuming.
Bleep machine needed, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I wasn't happy really, and I've backed Adrian. I mean, I know you said it isn't just his fault last night to me, but I know I've backed him, and we've said like he's a good number 2 and that. But there's that goal, not the goal, with the miss where he just runs. Yeah, he runs away from the goal, and even Carragher's like, "What is going on?" And we can't have a number 2 like that.
I'm gonna say something slightly differently. I'm still gonna back him, although the first goal, that was his fault.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly, that was his fault, right? 3 of the goals were deflections.
Yeah.
And the rest, he was just left exposed. I mean, yeah, his brain just got off. His brain went off for a hot dog for that one where they hit the bar. I wouldn't put as much blame on Adrian as a lot of people are, other than that one goal. And where his head fell off later on. I think that his head has already gone by that point. I
think the blame people are putting on him is the back 4 just don't look comfortable when he's in goal. So when Alisson's in goal, it feels like they're more comfortable going further up with the press. They're more comfortable with the offside trap, which I agree with what Jamie Carragher said on Sky last night. Although I love it, I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate that tactic because Aston Villa have just give the rest of the Premier League a game plan on how to absolutely destroy Liverpool.
And I'm hoping that Klopp and the coaching staff react to that. And it's not just a case of we're going to play our game, no plan B, go in blindly, because we're just going to get turned over every week. And I think the difference with Adrian and Alisson, I would say probably it wouldn't have made that much of a difference if we played that badly. But I would say Alisson may have been quicker off his line where Adrian was left exposed. Alisson may have come out and done a bit more. I still think we would have left because all round it was just abysmal.
I mean, I seen something on Twitter just before, and it said it feels as though Liverpool went into that game seeing all the weekend's results, expecting to just turn Aston Villa over, and they were right up for it because every team this year is going to be up for it even more so because they're playing against the champions.
Yeah.
And for them, that's the biggest game of the season for teams like Aston Villa, and not playing against like your Liverpools, your Cities, and trying to get a result. I mean, City started this season abysmal as well, but I mean, we haven't been abysmal, but I feel like the Villa games highlighted how shaky we have looked at the back this season.
Yeah, I think hopefully it's the kick up the arse that they need, and hopefully we learn from it, and we'll look back at the end of the season and go, what was that? But we still won the league.
Yeah.
Like that might be that we might look back and go, thank God that happened then.
Well, yeah.
Give us time to sort it out and fix the mistakes and the problems that were there.
The last time I can think of a bad performance like that under Klopp was Spurs when they played in Wembley, and I can't think of what the score was now, but I remember we were terrible. We got beat by them.
They only beat us about 2-0 or something like that, but I think that was a game where he was hovering after half an hour, wasn't it?
Yeah, and look what happened off the back of that. I mean, we maybe teams need to. I feel like a team needed to beat us, not like that.
No.
Someone needed to beat us to maybe give them the kick up the arse, like you said, because they just this season it's as though they know they're the best.
Yeah, they've become complacent. And I heard it must have been on the radio today coming to work, someone was saying that the fact that the fans aren't there sometimes makes the players switch off, because when the fans are there and on your back, you can't switch off for a second because the crowd are on you.
Yeah.
And with there being no fans there, sometimes the mind just might like drift off, like, oh, what's my bird doing for tea when I get home, or or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it though, like since lockdown, Liverpool haven't been great.
No.
We do need the fans there, and that worries me this season. I think this season is going to be a mad year. They interviewed Carragher after it on Sky Sports, and he was saying like you're going to see mad teams doing things this year, like Everton.
Yeah.
I mean, I still stand by Everton are just one injury from their midfield three away from being Everton again, really. They have got three phenomenal midfielders who have seemed to have gelled. Calvert-Lewin's on fire.
Yeah.
But I just feel like once James or Allen or Decore gets injured, probably James, given his record, I just think Everton will just go again. So I'm not really looking at them, and that's what annoys me more about this weekend. We would have won Villa. We were 8 points clear of City already.
Yeah. It seems so easy at the minute when it's still raw, and it's only happened yesterday, to be pessimistic, and loads of people, like all these bloody Twitter virgins kicking off and name calling players and all that. Just like, that's not us. Like, if you're going to do that to our players, just support them, get behind them.
I mean, the only thing that annoyed me last night was fans were wanting an apology off the players.
Nah,
and
I'm
for me, I just want a reaction.
Yeah, that's what, I don't need players to come out and go, oh, sorry. No, your players come out and go, right, we've got to do, next week, you turn up and they play out the skins, and that's all I need from them. I don't need a public apology. That would be their reaction, is to go out and absolutely batter Everton. I mean,
Adrian, like quite a lot of the players, I think I've only seen Milner has done something now, but Adrian done something. Like usually after the kick-off, after the final whistle, where they're all on social media, like with the posts and stuff like that. Adrian done one as normal, and it proper wound me up.
Oh, just semi-emotionless, like just.
Yeah, and it was just like we lost this one, but we'll go back hard, come back stronger or something. And it was just
No, I actually think that's the best approach. You can't lose your head over games like that. That was my feeling at the end of it.
Your answer, but should he come and put it on social media straight away? Like, he's just asking for abuse, isn't he? Off the people on like, I wouldn't sit there and slag a player off on Twitter. I've got more to do with my time than on Twitter. But I just think it was a silly move from him. Given what's happened to Nico in recent weeks, I just feel like he knew he was going to be the scapegoat. And I've seen people saying Adrian's one of the most confident players you'll ever come across. Like, nothing gets him down in terms of he believes he is unbelievable. And that's the same mindset Dejan Lovren had. And I just...
Yeah, you've got to back it up with a bit of extra quality, haven't you? And I mean, still will say you would struggle to find a better backup keeper out there.
Well...
Backup, because who's going to come in and sit on the bench?
My brother thinks that Liverpool have made a mistake. This is going to be so controversial.
I think you say what Ashley said to me yesterday, but go on, I'll let you say it first.
It's going to be so controversial, and a lot of Liverpool fans wouldn't like to see it, but we shouldn't have loaned Karius out.
Oh, no, that's not what Ashley said.
Yeah, we shouldn't have loaned Karius out because thinking about it, granted, what Karius done in that Champions League final, he'll never be forgiven for. However, he was concussed for two of them errors. The first one for Benzema, wow. But
you can't account for that, can you?
Yeah, he was concussed for the others. And when you think of Karius that season, I think he got Golden Glove in the Champions League.
He did perform really well leading up to that final, I'll give him that, but his head fell off after that.
Yeah, his head has fell off, and even in Turkey, he's had dodgy performances, but I just feel like Adrian's maybe got more of a mistake in him. I'm not saying we should have kept Karius myself, because I really don't want to see him in a Liverpool shirt again. But I do feel like we maybe should have went. I seen us linked with that Gazaniga this morning, and then it turned to Everton were linked with him. I wouldn't have minded him as a backup. I just think someone who's not starting for West Ham, how can he be a backup keeper for Liverpool? And what worries me is people are saying Alisson's out for 8 weeks. That's the City and the Everton game he's missing.
And there's Champions League games in there as well.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. I think our groups, we'll touch on that in a sec, but I think our groups easy.
I wouldn't say easy because there's no easy as you've seen from.
It's better than it could have been. We could have lost.
Easy. It's doable.
Yeah.
You would expect us. I wouldn't say it'd be easy, but you would expect us to get through.
I mean, we'll just rewind back then. After we've just had a little rant about the Villa game, rewind back to the Carabao Cup tie. I'm a bit annoyed at that, to be honest, because I feel like Shaqiri could have made a difference that day. Harry Wilson was really, really poor. Really poor. We thought he'd have a good game, but he was really, really poor. And I think Shaqiri might have made a difference. Now, apparently Shaqiri never played because he was signing for someone, but now he's not.
Yeah. So he's probably going speaking to other clubs or whatever. Klopp come up with that cryptic answer, and he's like, it's gone around at this time of year and blah, blah, blah. So he probably was talking to someone. But in my opinion, first and foremost, if you're playing for the club still and you're available for selection.
Yeah. I mean, Klopp didn't want to risk it, but for me, it's like, I don't care if he risks it. I mean, I wanted us to challenge. I wanted us to win everything this year. There's one already down, but it is only the Carabao Cup. It's not an... Klopp hates it. It's to the Pep conferences. He doesn't like it. He doesn't want to be in it. You can see it. But then he has put out strong lineups. But even in that game, I don't think that we were as good as we could have been. I know there was a lot of changes, but I feel like he was being too experimental. Like Harry Wilson's not a centre mid, and he was playing him.
Shock when he was in. That was a massive shock when he was in. Yeah. To be honest with you, that Carabao Cup game, like because of what happened against Villa, I forgot half the Arsenal game. Like I couldn't even tell you half the stuff that happened.
Yeah,
I've got this little section in my brain that's just shut down because of yesterday.
I mean, with the pens, I think it was a bad idea to put Harry Wilson on the first, goal. What's it called?
The goal.
Sudden death.
Sudden death. That's it. Yeah.
I think it was a bad idea to put Harry Wilson on the first one of them.
I mean, that's easy. That's easy said after the fact, isn't it?
Yeah, but I just think out of the other players who was on the pitch, that was better. I mean, obviously Harry Wilson's probably stepped forward and the players maybe hadn't.
And that's probably why, because you want the other players stepping up, and if they haven't, then you're not on Harry Wilson can do it.
Yeah, it looks like he's staying as well now, unless something. I mean, it's 7:30 time recording. Gruich, Wilson, Shaqiri, still players, yeah. Which will be interesting for Harry Wilson because he could go into a Premier League team and play every week.
Yeah,
he is.
Does the transfer window include loan moves though?
I'm not too sure. It does. It does on FIFA.
And I don't know. There's something just telling me that you can loan throughout the season, but
I think it's emergency loans, but the loans are still getting done today because Bakayoko's went to Lazio, I think, or Napoli, and then United are loan and not loan. Who's loaned someone in the Prem? Someone's loaned someone in the Prem.
Walcott to Southampton, or is that a transfer?
Yeah, that's a loan. So the fact that it's racing to be done today makes me feel like loans are included.
Probably it might be that emergency one. No, you get 2 weeks, your keeper's injured or whatever. You're allowed an emergency one.
We should be allowed an emergency one because of our keeper situation. But yeah, forgetting the Carabao Cup then, I mean, one thing I will say now, it'll probably annoy a lot of Reds listeners. I'd like to see Everton go on and win that.
You can have that one. Yeah, we'll let them have that.
I was thinking about it and I thought, how boss this city was, even though lockdown was happening, it was very controversial. But it was boss when we won the league. It was one of the best few days of my life. It was unbelievable. The city was just on a buzz.
I imagine that doubled if we're both successful.
Yeah, and it's more like Everton haven't won a trophy now for 25 years, is it? 26 years, something like that. I'm sure it was when the year I was born.
95, since 1995.
Yeah, so 94 I was born, so yeah, so they haven't won it for 25 years, 26 this year. So they haven't won a cup for 25 years. Just want to keep saying that. Because they are 9 points. No, they are 3 points clear soon, and they think they're going to be 6 points clear. But still haven't won a trophy for 25 years, may I add. But I would like to. I feel like some of my mates who are Blues, some of them even come out with us when we won the league. That like their fans act like the bitter and twisted. Half of them were there when we won the league, celebrating with the mates.
It's the same as any fan group, isn't it? You get most of them around, and you get the few that are not. I think a bad name. Although there is a probably high concentration of bitter fans amongst Evertonians because of.
I think it's the same as Liverpool. I think it's just the Twitter Blues and the Twitter Reds, like the just muppets, and
they're the ones like a head, aren't they? Because they're the biggest mouths.
But you know what? I don't know a Blue who they are bitter, but I don't know a Blue who's like you see Blues on Twitter. The other day I seen one saying that James Rodriguez was a better player than Steven Gerrard.
I seen that
and I just couldn't believe my eyes. I was like,
he's a good player, playing well, reel it in.
Well, one of the things they put in it was Gerrard like lost her on the big stage. There's a final called the Gerrard final.
Yeah, they're absolute idiots. Some of them are, and they've got very short memories.
Yeah, and the Blues who I know aren't like that, so you probably are right that there's the small minority. But for the Blues who are sound, like the people who know who are Blues who are all sound, I'd like to see them have a bit of success because I feel like because they haven't won a trophy for so long, if they did even win just a bloody Mickey Mouse Cup, if they won that, I feel like they would probably parade it because they haven't had a parade for 25 years.
Yeah.
And I feel like it just have the buzz on the Blue side of the city. If they win that and Liverpool going to win the league and the Champions League, imagine the city going to be bouncing.
Yeah.
I mean, they aren't going to win anything else, and it's so funny to see them all thinking that they're going to win the league because they're 3 points clear when literally.
Played anyone?
I know. I mean, obviously, yesterday done our goal difference some harm, but when we play them after the international break, if we beat them, they're level with us again.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, the worry is if they beat us, they're 6 points clear at the top of the league. And if I'm being completely honest, if we play like we did yesterday, they'll absolutely batter us.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But I don't think.
You know what? Even if they do, we've got plenty of time. Plenty of time. And if you look at that one result, it was awful.
Yeah.
It's the worst I've seen on the clock by a stretch. But if you look at the whole time Klopp's been there, you just throw that in the middle and no one bats an eyelid. It's just because it's the most recent and it's the most raw. Yeah. People are thinking it's the end of the world and it's not.
I think the international breaks people are saying it's a good time. I think it's a bad time because
I want to get right back on it.
Yeah, I'd rather be playing Everton this week.
Yeah.
And going for it. I mean, the one positive is because of the international break, we're going to be going into Everton with pending there's no more COVID cases, which I feel like there will be. Because if they've been in training with Thiago and Mane, why would more not catch you? I think
everyone gets it. That's the thing. So it's
pending no more COVID, we're going into the derby. Adrian is in goal, but we're going in. We'll probably play Fabinho centre back and Thiago in Oldham role. So you're playing a world class 11 who've going to have a bit between the teeth. Now they won't want to lose 2 games on the bounce, but I am worried about the derby.
For the first time in a long time, I am approaching the derby with like a little bit of nervousness, which is, do you know what? It's good because I said at the beginning of the season, I want the rivalry back.
That's what I mean. The derby, we've never went into a derby like this, have we? Really, where ultimately, I know Liverpool are probably still the favourites, but in terms of form, Everton are going in better form. They probably are the favourites. They haven't went into a derby as favourites for years, so. And you see Richarlison on Twitter with his little 7 and the fire thing.
I said to you before, I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all.
I hope it winds the players up. I hope like Van Dijk can have his fume and he thinks you're getting it.
Yeah, they've got a bit of thing, haven't they, in the past?
Yeah.
So I'll say, if James Milner did that, we'd all be laughing our heads off and going, James Milner, the absolute fella, winds in the Blues.
Richarlison's terrible.
Yeah, but... just as long as it spares us on, I don't mind a little bit of a little bit of banter like that. I think it's quite funny.
I mean, all form does go out the window in a derby.
Yeah.
But the last derby post-COVID was the most boringest game of football I've ever watched in my life.
Guys, I fell asleep.
Yeah. I just don't think this one will be much more exciting because there will be nerves from both teams. You know how much pressure's riding on it. Or it could go one or two ways. Liverpool could... I think they've had the air dryer treatment yesterday.
Yeah, I think it's going to be full throttle. From us, certainly it'll be full throttle, and I can see them responding in the same way. I think it's going to be a really entertaining game. And I say in the past, I've said this before loads of times when you've turned up for the derby, and it's been awful.
Yeah.
But I just think the circumstances around the build up to this game are different to anything that we've had in the recent past. So I just think it's going to be all guns blazing from both teams.
Looking at, obviously, most of the main deals are done now. I mean, I think before, I don't know if you've seen Thomas Partey, I think, going to Arsenal, United, we've got Cavani and Alex Telles. Given there is going to be no fans, probably till February, March time, if it is 6 months like they've said. I mean, there's been an article yesterday, just seen a share on Twitter that all the Tories constituencies aren't going into lockdown, so basically the wealthy aren't going into lockdown. So it's what you always wanted, weren't it, to drown out the North, and it honestly feels like that's what is happening. Like the North's getting drowned out because all the North's on lockdown again, and obviously
so all the businesses are going to go under, all the local small businesses, all the nightlife, the
Fusion and Black Rabbit in town, that's closed. 2 nights today.
So that's just going to end up with millionaire owners coming in with something else.
Yeah.
And the rich getting richer, and the normal working class or the small businessman has just got no chance.
It's crazy because you see fans look at Germany. Dortmund had 11,500 fans in their game on the weekend, and we're talking March. I just don't understand. And then they're losing 15,000 tests as well. I think there's something bigger going on. Boris is just an absolute clown. He really is. And
I think, he is a clown, but I don't think he's the head clown. I think he's just a face. He's just a puppet.
The Cummins is the bloody head one.
It's bigger. It's bigger than the government. He's just a puppet, and they've picked a good puppet for them because he's a bumbling idiot. So he'll say whatever he's told.
It's just, I mean, there was a reporter from Granada, a Northwest one, who got to sit down with Boris, and she had seen her on Twitter get shared. And she's saying to him, the R rating number in Boris's constituency is double what Manchester's was when they got put back on a lockdown.
Really?
Yeah, and his constituency, that area, isn't on lockdown. She's asking why, and he just keeps dodging the question, and it winds me up. It proper winds me up. And the only thing I can think of is I hope people up north who voted for the Tories are now realising what they'll do. They don't care about the Tories up north. They don't care, even if it's in your financial interest to vote for a Tory. If you're on megabucks up in the north, where you live is getting affected, and this will be grim in a few years if they carry on.
Yeah, and they don't care. They said they don't care how much money you've got, or why you voted for them, or they won't give a toss about Southport. At the end of the day, it'll just be that's just another town up there. Who cares?
Made up their fair closed. But yeah, back to
sorry, buggers.
Back to footy, but you're touching on obviously there's no crowds probably February, March if it is 6 months like the clown's saying. Do you think what Carragher said yesterday could be right, that you'll see mad teams in mad positions this year because there's no fans?
Absolutely. You just look at yesterday, not even our game. Tottenham, they're not the best team, but they absolutely, United aren't really the best team, but where do you see two teams in the same league winning by 5-6 goals? It doesn't happen very often.
It's crazy. United have got Harry Maguire at the back, so that's always likely.
God, that was hysterical.
I do want to add on to the Liverpool game. I think we would have won because that Salah pen was a pen. Martin Atkinson
nailed on pen. How can VAR look at that and still say no?
It's crazy, isn't it? And that was at 1-0. That would have changed the game with 1-1. Then get our heads back, maybe.
Yeah, I think we do. I mean, looking at the grand scheme of things, I think we probably still would have lost, but I don't think that one penalty would have changed the way they play because they were awful, and I don't think a penalty changes that.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have been by as many goals. May have given us a little bit of momentum or something, but I mean, what the hell's VAR doing there?
Like when we scored, they wanted to score 2 more every time. Stupid. So yeah, what would I mean, we've already done our predictions, but what's going to be your maddest? What would you think could happen this year because there is no fans?
I can see Everton getting Champions League.
Yeah.
And that is as mad as it can get in my eyes.
I can see teams massively being. I think we'll be affected massively, but I still think we'll do it. But I think teams like your Chelsea's. I think Lampard's losing his head down there. He's just kicking off on anyone. He's kicked off Mourinho, didn't he, when he played them?
Oh yeah.
I think Chelsea will be massively affected by no fans. I think United will be massively affected by no fans. And then I think the lower teams
with all the best fans are going to be the ones affected most.
Yeah, I mean, Villa have phenomenal fans.
Look at them.
Yeah, I mean, there's teams like Villa who have phenomenal fans, but I feel like there'll be teams, like coming to say Anfield, where usually that is a hard game.
Yeah, I think they don't have that fear in them anymore, will they?
No, it's just they're all like training games, to be honest. And that's what I think. I think like you're going to see that like teams like Aston Villa pulling off mad results. Aston Villa are flying. They stayed up by 1 point last year, and they've done some very smart business. That Emi Martinez is a buy and a half. He's a really, really good keeper. It's a shame because if he was happy to still be a number 2, I would have said we should have snapped him up, but he wanted to be a number 1.
Isn't he?
Yeah, he is really good. I don't know why Arsenal let him go. I do think he's probably better than Leno in my eyes.
Although Leno had a blinder against us, by the way.
Yeah,
I think that's one thing I remember from that game. Leno was brilliant.
Unbelievable. So he won on the side, hands down. But I think teams like Villa, Ollie Watkins is a good buy. Ross Barkley's good on loan. But I think teams like them will get results at like us, Chelsea.
Teams where you wouldn't normally expect them to. Like top 6 teams, they'll pull off. Like, I mean, I would say probably yesterday was a one-off for them in terms of how dominant they were. But they'll pull off results where they might go to United and win 1-0, or they might go to another top 6 side and win a couple of goals.
You with one. I don't think City might. I'm not guaranteeing it. I'm sticking to my top 4 that they're second, but I think that they could potentially miss out on top 4. I don't know if you've seen any of their games this year.
They've been okay.
Yeah,
not like
they've got 4 points. I think like 13th in the table.
Yeah.
And it's just mad, and they just don't look like City. And I think, remember, we won the league last year because in my eyes, they didn't replace Company.
That's right, yeah.
And then this year, I think we'll win it again because they haven't replaced David Silva. They've replaced David Silva with Ferran Torres, who I think he's like 20.
Yeah, I haven't seen enough of him to comment whether he's a decent enough replacement. But regardless of who he is, it's so hard to replace a player like David Silva.
It's like trying to replace someone like Steven Gerrard, isn't it? He's that big of an influence for them, especially. I couldn't believe how long he was there. I think he's getting a statue there and stuff, and rightfully so. Like he's made history there.
He'll be a club legend there for sure. Like,
yeah, and it's like probably the start of their legends. I mean, I know they've got legends from the past, but they were crap, weren't they, before the oil?
Yeah, John Gota, go ahead.
But yeah, obviously since the last pod, Champions League groups got drawn. What do you think then of ours?
I think we've done all right there. I was worried about getting Atletico. I was worried about getting Inter. And who was the team? It was another team that I was worried about in the final pot that we didn't get either. So I think we've avoided any big scares there. Atalanta, they're flying at the minute in Italy.
They scored 4 goals in every game they played this year.
Yeah, but well, mind you, if we play like we did yesterday, we've had it. But I don't fear any of them teams. I think even after watching that yesterday, I think all them teams will still fear us more than we fear them.
Well, with our group, one thing that sticks with me is when I love Amsterdam. I mean, I'm absolutely devastated that the 1 year I have wanted Liverpool to get Ajax in the Champions League for as long as I can remember. That is the dream tie for me and my mates. The dream tie.
Nightmare tie for the Amsterdam police, though.
Yeah, and their fans are loons anyway. I didn't know until like last.
Oh, I've got that off the heads.
Yeah, my mate sent a video into our group chat, and they were bouncing chairs off people's heads and that on the red light district after a game. And
Yeah, I've seen them where they're all singing in a car park with the flares going and.
when they play, my mate was saying when they play final, they have to pierce the tunnel. Yeah,
yeah, goes off. Yeah,
I didn't even know me, but I've done the Ajax Stadium, so I've only done it once. But I remember the year I done it was the year Germany went far in the Champions League, and they had like the Lake, de Jong, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the fella who took us round said with Ajax they have a good team for like 3 years where they do dominate and they do well in the Champions League, and then Ajax sell them all off and they bring the next crop through.
Yeah.
And for about 2 or 3 years, they're dodgy. And if I think back just before De Ligt and that, I'm sure didn't Kout or Brad Jones, one of them won the Dutch league with Feyenoord.
Kout.
Yeah. So that was when, like, obviously De Ligt and that were probably coming through. Cause that was only about 4 or 5 years ago.
That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, so that must have been when obviously they were just starting. So I feel like Zajček and Donny van der Beek were probably the last of that unbelievable group. I mean, they've still got Danilo, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and he's decent, but I think he's part of the next crop. So I think they'll be a lot easier than we imagine, and obviously with no fans.
They won't be the team they were the last 2 years, that's for sure. I couldn't say how good they are because I haven't seen what they've got, and I haven't seen. Has their league started yet?
I'm not too sure.
I've not seen anything of them, so I couldn't really comment, but
that the team pretty
I'm not scared of them.
Because I think you could still go to Amsterdam until about 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
Because that would have been unbelievable. Going to Amsterdam for like...
Imagine the scenes.
Imagine that there would have been about 30,000 Scousers go over to that. Easy. Because you can drive there, you can get planes. A flight there's 45 minutes, costs about 30 quid. Yeah. It's the best place in the world. I don't know if you've been. It's the best place in the world. It's my favourite.
I fear for me health if I went to Amsterdam, to be honest with you. I'm not sure I'd make it back.
It's the most amazing. People who go, you either love it or hate it. You either go and think this is dead overrated, or you go and think this is amazing. And I'm on the amazing.
Depends how much you smoke, isn't it?
But I mean, like in terms of other things, though, like I used to like they're just all too chilled to care, and it's just a nice place. I think I just think it's dead chill, dead relaxed. You always have a laugh there. I've never, in all the years I've been going to Amsterdam, I've never once had a bad holiday. I've never once had like any bad encounters. I mean, don't get me wrong, sometimes it is sussy of a night down some of the alleys, but it's just boss. It's proper boss. And I've always wanted Liverpool to play Ajax. And the 1 year that we get them, you can't even go. And it's sad. It's so sad.
I mean, what date, when are we playing them away? Because if it's one of the later games, did they finish before Christmas? Do they all the group games?
I think they do, yeah, and then the knockout stages start in... Yeah, the knockout stages start after Christmas, and I think February, yeah.
So there's no chance. Not like, no chance of going to the match, at least, anyway. Whether we can get over to the city itself's a different matter.
I don't think there's much point in going. I mean, don't get me wrong, if loads of my mates are going over there, even if you can't go to the match just to watch it there, I'll go, but...
Yeah.
I just don't see the point if you haven't got a chance of getting in the ground and that. What's the
bit of a waste, isn't it? Because I mean, we used to say we don't end up drawing them in like the semi-finals. Say we both get through, we could get them in the semis or whatever, and by that time they might be letting fans in and stuff. So
don't do this to me, Steve. Don't put that thought in my head.
You never know, because there's no point wasting a trip to Amsterdam for not an early days if there's a chance that we'll get them later in the tournament when we're allowed to go over.
I don't think I'd like to go and. With it being all socially distant and that, like, that's just part of the damn experience. I think, like,
all the hugging and everything.
Yeah, like it's just some of the coffee shops are like proper packed, like the ones that are big, and then like, some of the tourist attractions like sardines and that. But Amsterdam is the best holiday if you want to lose weight because you walk for miles. But
but what about all the munchies?
Yeah. That's what I love about it, Steve. They've got sweet shops literally on like everywhere you turn. I can't even think what it's called. Now it's this pink shop and it's got some mad name. And when you go in, it's just got everything. It's got grape Fanta, unbelievable, because we only get the sugar-free one.
If you're watching and you know the name of it, leave a comment so we know.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I can't even think of the name of it. But it's my favourite place. I spend probably easily like 200 quid on stuff from there, like crisp and jellies and mad drinks and the chocomels. Love them. But yeah, looking at other groups in the Champions League, I mean, that FC Mitz would add in our group.
Yeah, the Danish people.
One thing I will say about our group is it's perfect in terms of travel. Amsterdam, 45 minutes away.
Denmark, not much further.
Denmark, I'm sure I threw into Denmark.
About an hour.
What's the capital of Denmark?
Okay.
Yeah, I flew to Copenhagen on the way to Madrid. I think it was about an hour and a half flight, something like that. And then Atalanta.
Yeah, 2 hours.
I think it is 2 hours to Atalanta. They're probably the team. Us and Atalanta probably go through. When you look at other groups, United aren't getting out of their group.
I was laughing when I seen the teams United. I was like, oh yes.
Well, granted, Leipzig have lost Werner. However, I've watched a few of their games this year because the Bundesliga is always on BT Sport, and that's like the go-to channel in where, and they're actually quite decent.
United haven't lost Maguire, so it doesn't matter who the other teams have got. As long as Maguire's there, you've got a chance.
And I think we've all seen that Timo Werner just isn't what people think he is. I mean, maybe he's had a slow start, but what did Chelsea do to strikers? Because they ruined Tavares and now they're ruining Werner. But yeah, United's group's obviously got PSG in, and I think the dark horse in United's group is Istanbul, Başakşehir. They're that ones that, remember I was telling you that they're owned by like the Turkish mafia, and you're like,
you've got a better knowledge on the Turkish teams, haven't you?
They're like they'll do United, them, you know. Seriously, and if by the time there's fans in, God forbid there is fans in, United will get turned over in Turkey. Yeah. But then they've got to fly 4 hours to Turkey. That's another. You don't want to be flying 4 hours on like a Tuesday and flying back on a Thursday, and you've got to play, say, Liverpool on a Saturday. Like, that's bad for them. And the other groups, you know what? I was looking through them now. There's not one team that scares me. I mean, Dortmund have got a good side. They've got Zenit, Lazio, and Club Brugge. That's Lucas Mignolet and Lovren's reunion group, innit?
There was one group I seen with three, like, I can't even remember who it was. There's one group with three boss teams, and I thought, Jesus Christ, that's
Dortmund, Zenit, and Lazio are all strong teams.
It was
there's Real Madrid, Shakhtar, Inter, and Borussia Mönchengladbach. That's quite a tough group.
That's quite a tough one, yeah.
City will be gutted.
I think it was Barca, Juve,
Dynamo Kiev, and then there's Ferenc Varos or something, some mad team in that group.
Maybe I made it up. Then I'm sure there was one group.
That's the easiest group.
Yeah.
Sevilla probably turned Chelsea over. But then they've got Krasnodar and Rennes, and they've just took Rennes as keeper. So
they knew what they were doing there, didn't they?
Yeah. I mean, City've got half an easy group, but you know what though? I don't think City's as easy as people think. Porto is not. I know they've beat Porto and turned them over, but it's not a nice place. They've got horrible travel because they've got Portugal, Greece, and then France. But Porto away is not an easy game. Olympiacos away is not an easy game, and Marseille away isn't an easy game really. And then you've got Bayern, Atletico, Salzburg, and Lokomotiv Moscow. So you know Bayern and Atletico.
I think that was the group. Bayern, Atletico.
Well, Salzburg have sold anyone who they had decent now. So they sold Haaland, they've sold Minamino. Then I think a few of them went over to Leipzig. So, I mean, they'll be in the Champions League. They'll be in the Champions League every year now because they're called FC Salzburg in the Champions League, aren't they?
Yeah, you can't have two.
Yeah, and then there's FC Leipzig, so they've Red Bull removed the branding. So they could have actually went in the same group, which is mad.
Yeah.
It's what Red Bull want, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Well, yeah, looking at the groups, I am standing by. I think Liverpool are going to win the Champions League this year.
I'll take that. I love it.
Because I think there's going to be a few. I think United will go out of their group. I think Dortmund could struggle with like Zenit and Lazio. Lazio are a good side. Luis Alberto's boss for them. Lucas has obviously been unbelievable there. I think the Madrid group, Real Madrid team, I was looking at, the lineup the other day, I seen on Twitter. No, it's nowhere near what it was. I mean, they got a few talents coming through, like Rodrigo and that, and Vinicius Junior, but it's not what it was. Even the Barca team, when would you ever think of Barca? I know Koeman's the manager, but buying Memphis Depay.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking for
and getting Memphis Depay is the maddest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm looking more at Atletico as a threat.
Suarez has come on and scored, I think scored 2 goals in his debut, and they got Costa there. They're a dirty team anyway. I mean, if they're going to lose Thomas Partey, he's a good player, so it's a big miss for them. But
they've still got that Sal Niguez, haven't they? And they've still got a good solid team there. Like,
well, they'll probably win. Like you said it on the last pod about when Barca last sold the players who didn't Atletico win the league the following year. Wouldn't surprise me this year. Really wouldn't surprise me. I think Barca have messed up. So didn't they still get rid of Suarez for nothing? They used to let him go.
He terminated his contract, yeah.
It's just mad. Barca. I mean, one thing with Barca, they've got Ansu Fati, and he is going to be world class.
This isn't FIFA, you know. It's not your team on FIFA.
Not the Bristol City domination.
Speaking of FIFA, me and you are just EA whores, aren't we? Because we've said all along we weren't getting a new one, and then look what's happened to
it. Does me head in. It proper does me head. But you know what? I mean, I was starstruck, for those who don't know. I started the career with Bristol, and my aim was to get them to win the Premier League. So I got them promoted in my first season. Tough struggle in the Championship. Smashing it in the Prem. I think I'm second. Just won the Carabao Cup against Liverpool. Actually, you know, last night, after we got beat 7-2 by Villa, I turned FIFA on my first game for Bristol was against Villa. I think I beat like 7 or 8-0. I was fuming. I was running through with that Fabio Silva, like, you're scoring about 8 today, you. But, no, Ansu Fati is world class, honestly. He really is. I think he's already scored 2 or 3 goals this season in the Liga.
He's still 16, isn't he? Or 17?
17, yeah, but there was someone, the manager or the president, you know, when he wanted to get rid of Coutinho, they said, we don't need Coutinho, we've got Ansu Fati. And he's thought that highly of, like, they're comparing him to Messi and stuff like that. Yeah. And he backs it up, to be fair. Like, he's a decent player, but...
You need more than one player, don't you?
Yeah. One thing I'm dead interested in, though, in the Champions League is Messi against Ronaldo again. I am buzzing.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that being the biggest anti-climax in football because for a start, they're coming up against each other, but they're not going to be throwing tackles in on each other because they're going to be on the other end of the pitch from each other, aren't they, most of the time?
It's interesting to see how Messi acts, really.
Yeah.
Obviously doesn't want to be there. He's fuming about his goodbye message to Suarez was real cryptic. Like,
it was, yeah.
Surprise me in this club anymore and stuff like that. So that's what I mean. I think the world's just went mad. Do you know what I mean? Like, so someone put on Twitter, I think it was it might be like Paddy Power or something. Sevilla. It was Sevilla tweeted, or was it Sevilla? No, it was one of the Russian teams. I don't know. It was someone tweeted. Defo footy team. It was one of the Russian teams. I think Everton and Villa maintaining a title challenge 2020 is officially over.
Talking about social media, did you see? I don't know whether he deleted it. I'm not even sure it was actually him, but it looked like it was Thiago. I put a comment on social media after the game, tagging Bayern Munich, saying, "What about that buyback clause?" with a laughing face. I mean, maybe like it was with Ashley, and he's going, "The cheeky, what's he doing, Alan?" Mate, that's funny. I've
funny. I've out a few times by that. People, there's like an emoji you can put at the end of your name. It's like a black circle, and if you look quickly, it looks like a verification tick. And I've been caught off by that a few times.
Well, I think even if it was real, I was like, I don't mind that. That's quite funny.
Yeah, I think Thiago's going to absolutely destroy Everton. I think he's going to be a massive part this season. Looking ahead, then international break.
You need to leg it with these international breaks, especially now. All the players are getting COVID. And sending them out to play with players that they don't normally come into contact with.
England can't just have parties, all the kids. There hasn't Jadon just been found with Ben Chilwell and somebody else.
There was a few of them, weren't they, that breached the rules.
stupid, proper stupid, and it's just like I half think maybe like that Mane and Ste haven't got sick and Jurgen's just blagging it, so they don't have to go on national duty.
Yeah, the whole squad's got symptoms.
I don't think that many are going though, you know.
No.
I know Trent's going, Curtis Jones is going to the 70. Gomez is going, Hendo's going. Just your usual. Henderson's
Keep taking Henderson. He hasn't even come back from injury properly.
Yeah, well, apparently he had an agreement with Gareth Southgate to be match fit for the England team. So.
How can he be doing that? They don't pay him. We pay him.
I know. I think they only get about £1,000 a game, don't they, in England?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they even count it, do they?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't think many of our players are going. I mean, obviously, Alisson won't be going now. Mane won't be going. Thiago won't be going. Trent's going. Van Dijk will be going.
Is Robbo going if they got a game?
Robbo will always be going. He's the captain in the year. They've got a game. But it's I think, is it the Euro qualifiers or is it World Cup? Or it's not the Nations League, is it?
Absolutely pay no attention to England at all. What games they've got, who they're playing.
Yeah.
Unless it's the World Cup or something, then I'll have a watch. But I couldn't even tell you what it is. Or is that stupid Nations League or whatever it is?
I was sat when England got knocked out of the World Cup. I was sat with my mates laughing. I was made up. Proper made up. Especially, I wanted Lovren to score against them as well, mate. I was proper rooting for him. I just don't watch England, but yeah, after the international break, it is the derby. Are you worried? I know we said before we were worried, but do you think we'll win it, basically?
Yeah, I do.
Comfortably?
No, it won't be comfortable because they're a much better team than they have been in the past. As I said before, I think it'll be a sort of fiercely contested, close game, and I think we'll edge it.
The game after Everton's Ajax away.
God, that's come quick.
21st of October. Do you know what? To be honest with you, we've got quite a intense.
Got a bit of a grueling thing, haven't we, coming up?
Yeah, we've got Everton away, Ajax away, Sheffield United at home. You just know Ian Brewster's going to be up for that.
Yeah.
We've got that Midtjylland at home. Then we've got West Ham at home. So from the Ajax game, we're not away again till the 3rd of November. So nearly a month. Well, 3 weeks. And then we play Atalanta away. Then we've got City. So the games that Alisson would miss would be Everton, Ajax, Sheffield United, Midtjylland, West Ham, Atalanta, City.
All being well. Yeah.
Yeah, and what worries me is them Champions League ones, the two hard ones in Atalanta and Ajax. They're both the away games.
Yeah.
We all know what Adrian's like in the Champions League.
Well, let's get behind him. Let's believe in him.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I still think we'll win Everton.
Getting on his back, by the way, is gonna do no one any good.
I don't understand.
He's there. He's playing. So you just got to get over it and get behind him.
I honestly think that Kelleher might play. You know.
You think?
Yeah. His confidence has got to be gone after that.
I don't. As you said, he seems to be like a confident guy, and he put that post on afterwards. And
the only thing that fills me with confidence about the derby is they've got Jordan Pickford in goal.
Yeah, there's always a chance when Jordan Pickford's in goal. Did you see him? The mistakes he made.
Last game, I watched like the first 2 or 3 of Everton.
He literally he could have caught it. It was at a good height. It was basically a back pass that had bounced up, and it was at like head height, and he's gone like that to grab it, and it's hit his palm and just bounced out.
He's another one who thinks he's world class, and he's awful.
Yeah.
One thing I will say though is we have got quite a nice December.
I know we've got plenty of games, haven't we? But it's the teams that we're playing seem to be.
Well, 1st December's Ajax at home, 5th of December's Wolves at home, 9th of December. Pardon?
It's my 40th birthday on the 2nd of December.
And then we've got Wolves at home on the 5th, that Midtjylland away on the 9th, Fulham away on the 12th, Tottenham at home on the 16th, Palace away on the 19th, and then Liverpool, West Brom. So at home, West Brom on the 26th, 28th, Newcastle away, and then Southampton on the 2nd. So
there's tier games there, isn't there?
Oh, this game in that's Tottenham, and it's at home, and Tottenham at Tottenham. So I mean, we know the Bastards United, but they'll be crap now for weeks. It's just I was surprised to see Mourinho get a team to score 6 goals in a game. To be honest, never mind.
Yeah, you'll have to remind me close to that Tottenham game. If you make Graham, who's the Spurs fan, said he'll come on and have a little chat with us before the Spurs game.
The 16th of December. Do you know what? That December schedule's mad. That's like a game every 3 days, you know. The 1st, the 5th, the 9th, the 12th, the 16th, the 19th, the 26th, the 28th, the 2nd.
Yeah, there's a gap there of 1 week once. Like
that's where the Community Shield would it be? I mean, the Carabao Cup is. So that might benefit us in terms of, I mean, it's only West Brom that we're playing at home. But
it was only Villa we were playing yesterday, you know what I mean? You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, the only game that fills me with full of confidence in that's Fulham, because they're absolutely awful. Yeah, international breaks coming up, no footy. Gutting, really, proper gutting, but it is what it is. We'll talk before the Everton game and do a big build up for that.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're in higher spirits by then.
Oh, for sure, yeah, we will.
Never know. There's still like 3 hours left of the transfer window. We might announce Mbappe in 3 hours.
Oh, Michael just doing some madness in the background, isn't he? And just keeping his mouth shut.
Or Sancho. Something stupid. I love it. But I think Sancho will come next year. I think that's why he's palmed United off. It'd be nice. I think Salah or Mane will probably go anyway at the end of this year. So probably a natural replacement. But yeah, nice one as always.
Okay, anytime.
Up the Reds, because if you can't support your team when you're losing, you don't deserve to support them when you're winning.
Oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe and like and all that. We need all the support you can give us, yeah.
Nice one.